I would like to start my presentation by first thanking Eric Peterson because without him I wouldn't have the opportunity. Now with that out of the way, hello, my name is Graham Hargrove and I did my project on New Zealand. This is my infographic. It displays data on things such as the average marriage age, the average abortion rates, and infant mortality rates. But most importantly, it shows that New Zealand is in the fourth stage of the demographic transition model. Tamoko is a kind of tattoo created by the New Zealand native people called the Maori in order to display social status and to make themselves more attractive. These tattoos were given using chisels made of albatross bones as opposed to a more modern needle. The kakahu is another materialistic example of New Zealand folk culture. The kakahu is a cloak that originated in Maori culture as a way to display mana or status, but has since been adopted by modern New Zealanders. These cloaks were made from different kinds of pelts, but most traditionally the pelt of the kiwi bird. One iconic cultural food of New Zealand is hangi. Hangi is not technically one food, but instead it is a way of cooking originating again from the native Maori tribe that consisted of putting meats and seafoods along with vegetables and rice over hot rocks in large pits. Modern hangi, however, is more commonly cooked in slow cookers and ovens. Not to be confused with the food hangi, hangi with an O is a traditional form of Maori greeting, in which two individuals rub their noses together. Hangi started to symbolize teha, or the passing of the breath of life. This greeting is still used by Maori when welcoming outsiders onto their land and when carrying out ceremonies. Rugby was brought to New Zealand by a man named Charles John Munro after he had witnessed it played while studying abroad in London. Munro started the first rugby national team in New Zealand, and today rugby is one of the most popular sports in the country. Pakehas, or white New Zealanders who originated from Europe, have begun marking themselves with tamoko. Since tamoko has been used by modern Maoris in order to display their proud heritage, by participating in this tradition, Pakehas are trying to claim ownership of the same heritage which they aren't even a part of. The demographic of New Zealand is made up of Pakehas, Maori, and other Polynesian tribes, as well as people from around Asia. The Maori were the original inhabitants of New Zealand. The Europeans came second to New Zealand in the 17th century, starting with a man from the Netherlands while attempting to spread Christianity. He was quickly followed by settlers from all over Europe. The Asian settlers first came to inhabit the island in the 19th century. This divide of native and non-native people causes racism much like in America, where the native people are discriminated against and provided less educational and occupational opportunities than the non-native people. New Zealand is the sixth most equal country in the world when speaking about gender. New Zealand is the first country to give women the right to vote in 1893. Although very equal, there still is a wage gap between women and men. This gap is likely caused by a lack of women in managerial positions. The Maori originally accepted the LGBT community until the Europeans colonized New Zealand. The Europeans were intolerant of the community and criminalized them. Now New Zealand is very accepting of the community, legalizing being homosexual in 1986 and gay marriage in 2013. Today, many parades are held in the country celebrating the LGBT community. The official language of New Zealand is Te Reo. Te Reo originates from the Maori tribe and is part of the Austronesian language family, which is closely related to Hawaiian and Rapa Nui. The largest religion in New Zealand is Christianity. Christianity was started by Jesus of Nazareth in the Middle East and has symbols such as the cross and the fish. The church is the place of worship for Christians. And that's all, but thank you for listening.